This is one of sport's great proving grounds, a gateway to glory where heroes are made. 26 tournaments across 15 countries over 2 continents. It's an 8-month campaign to determine the very brightest prospects in golf. Finish the season in the top 20 on the Road to Mallorca rankings and secure a golden ticket to the European Tour. That's the dream shared by all who compete on the Challenge Tour.
The 2021 season has now taken in 23 of its 26 scheduled tournaments. And coming towards the end of what's been a hectic and pretty turbulent year, the grand final in Mallorca is now just a stone's throw away. With that in mind, let's check on the Road to Mallorca rankings, where Spain's Ángel Hidalgo is the last man in at the moment, lying in the all-important 20th spot. 5 places ahead of him is Germany's Hurley Long. And into the top 10, at 10, it's the Cybank Aisberg Challenge winner Espen Kofstad. Up 5 more spots, and we find Open de Bretagne champion Julien Brun of France. Our latest double winner, Marcus Helikilde, is up to 3rd, and ahead of him, 2 more 2-time champs in Ricardo Gouveia, and still at the top, Santiago Tarrio of Spain.
And with only 2 events remaining until the grand final in Mallorca, next stop is mainland Spain, and specifically the Costa Brava region, located on the east coast. Known for its fine wine and beaches, this is a real tourist hotspot, and this week, a golfing hotspot too. Here at Emporda Golf, just 40 minutes from Girona, for our first week, it's the stage for the Emporda Challenge.
Emporda Golf was dreamt up in the late 1980s by a group of 5 local businessmen who shared a passion for the game of golf. They brought in renowned American architect Robert von Hager, who laid out plans for 2 18-hole courses, the Links and the Forest, both overlooked by the Grand Hotel, which lies at the centre of the property. This week our players will take on the Links at Emporda, and whilst they beaver away on the range, depending on their current ranking, their thoughts will no doubt turn to either making sure of a place in the Challenge Tour Grand Final or to claiming a place in the top 20 of the rankings, ensuring promotion to the European Tour. Time to hear from the man who currently lies in 20th, Ángel Hidalgo.
All enjoy. Enjoy every single day, enjoying the practice rounds, enjoying the course, and see what happens. If I play good, I will have a chance. So I only want to think that. After winning Germany, I was thinking a lot in the ranking, and that's why I think I don't play really solid. Obviously, the weekends was really good in Portugal and last week in Switzerland. But yeah, have fun and enjoy every single day, and we'll see what happens.
Coming off his best result of the season so far is Jonathan Jigger Thompson. The 6'9" Englishman jumped 29 spots to just inside the top 25 of the rankings after grabbing a share of 2nd place at the Swiss Challenge. And that result's given him a completely different outlook to these 3 final tournaments on the Road to Mallorca.
I feel like my game's been there for weeks. Been playing some real solid stuff tee to green, but you know the reality is you've got to get it in the hole in this game, and that for me has just started to warm up a little bit, so it's quite exciting. I had quite a few options on the line, to be honest with you. I was going to go to Corn Ferry Q School over in the States because I wasn't really going anywhere on the order of merit here, and now this has happened last week. I can sort of actually, well, the top 20 is in sight now. Potentially with 2, if not 3 great events, then, you know, anything can happen.
Well, when it came down to the action, Thompson was handily placed inside the top 20 at 8 under par, albeit some 8 shots behind the leaders with just the final round to play.
A man on the cusp of securing a Challenge Tour card for next season is Cork native John Murphy. Having only turned professional in the summer, he's come flying out of the blocks. After a trio of 67s, he was tied 4th. Alongside him, a Swede, Bjorn Hellgren, 47th on the Road to Mallorca, knowing just a small move up to 45th over the next 2 weeks will book his place in the grand final.
A bogey-free 3rd round 65 for fellow Swede Jens Dantorp elevated him to 3rd place on his own. Dantorp, a 2-time Challenge Tour winner, just 1 behind with a round to go. Ahead of him, in a two-way tie for the lead at 16 under par were Englishman Andrew Wilson and Julien Brun of France. Wilson arrived here on the back of 3 missed cuts, but had only 2 drop shots in his opening 3 rounds. Impressive stuff.
And as we heard, he was joined there by Julien Brun, already a winner this year in France. The 29-year-old has already bagged enough points for his European Tour card next season, but he's still in the hunt for that second victory. A quick look at the leaderboard through 3 rounds shows it's Brun and Wilson 1 clear, with 4 players in 6th place at 11 under par, prior to a final day full of promise here in Girona.
Not far from Emporda Golf is the town of Powell's, with its medieval architecture and other historic gems. And it's where we took New Zealander Daniel Hillier. Currently 42nd on the road to Mallorca rankings, Daniel hasn't been able to get home since coming over in April because of travel restrictions. He's been relishing the opportunity he's been given this season in Europe.
It's been crazy, 2020 was obviously a pretty tough year for everyone, and I had the opportunity to come over here this year, and I'm really grateful that I did. Being over here and getting to play competitive golf against some of the best players in the world, and when I say that, we're on the Challenge Tour, but a lot of these guys are competing on the main tour with no sweat. There's a few times this year where I've been playing on Sunday without knowing whether I'm going to be into the next event or not, and so there's a lot of last-minute travel plans. I'm really proud of the way that I've handled it, and I've got a great management company behind me as well that have helped me out along the way, and I think without their help I'd be driving myself mad trying to organise all this stuff at the last minute.
Daniel hasn't been alone, with his girlfriend Siobhan along for the adventure and helping out with caddying duties, even though she had no previous experience on the bag.
A learning curve because I don't caddy at all for Daniel, and I'm not a golfer myself, but to have his trust on the bag, like all I do is feed him, water him and carry his bag and keep him calm. I've loved every moment of it. He's really cool, calm, collected, and he won't take anything out on me, which is good, but I know that internally he can get quite frustrated and I don't know what I'm doing. He can't ask me for yardages or wind. Maybe I can learn that.
She's just been great. She's kept me calm in pretty stressful moments when I'm out there. Just someone that's there and doesn't get more excited than I do, and is pretty level-headed, which she is. And so I'm just really grateful that she's able to keep me calm, and it's been great. It's been a pretty awesome experience all around. Obviously a pretty long year. Coming over here with 7 invites to start me off, and managed to make the most of those, and got myself to a point now where I'm in a decent position to make the final. Managed to have a nice week off last week just to refresh and get myself recalibrated for these last 2, and so I'd like to think that I'm in a good position to give these next couple of events a good crack and hopefully see my name near the top of the leaderboard.
A real sense of tension hung in the air for our leaders here at Emporda Golf for the climax to the Emporda Challenge, as our leaders Brun and Wilson warmed up with different goals on the line.
It was a slow start for Wilson with an early drop shot, and a similar story for Brun, who bogeyed the 4th but came straight back with birdies at 5 and 6 to settle the nerves and to take the outright lead. A group ahead, Jesper Svensson was making anything but a sluggish start. A birdie at the par 4 9th saw the 25-year-old Swede go to the turn in 5 under and move into contention for his first Challenge Tour victory.
Playing alongside Svensson was John Murphy, consolidating his good recent form, underlined with an impressive eagle on the 18th hole, to finish on 16 under and in a tie for 3rd. Round of the day, surely that of Englishman Jonathan Thompson. A pair of 31s on the front and back 9 saw him card a 9 under par 62. A staggering 11 birdies, including this chip in here at the 14th, on his way to setting the clubhouse target at 17 under.
The tussle at the top was getting interesting, with Brun and Svensson battling bravely over the back 9. A birdie for Brun here at the 10th took him to 18 under, 1 ahead of Thompson, and on course for a 2nd win of the season. After grabbing a share of the lead with 2 holes to play, the enormity of the situation seemed to hit Svensson, as he dropped a shot at the 17th and made bogey at 18 as well. A disappointing finish for the Swede, who had to settle for a share of third place with 3 others.
And after a sensible approach into 18, the Frenchman duly wrapped up his second victory of the season.
Here's a look at the top 10, which features 2 Swedes, 2 Englishmen and 2 Frenchmen. All these picking up valuable Road to Mallorca points at this crucial stage of the season. But the man with the biggest smile is the man at the top, enjoying a special family moment.
This one is very sweet. I was in the lead all week, like the first one as well, and it was very sweet to have my dad on the back and have a little family affair there, so very nice one.
A healthy check and a future on the European Tour to look forward to. Life couldn't get much better for Brun. And as the sun sets on our first week at Emporda Golf, don't go anywhere because we go again at this venue, this time in the Challenge Costa Brava. And a tough season for one of the Tour's big talents.
I'm not confident to make it, to be honest, but I give my 100% best.
Welcome back to the Challenge Tour and to Spain as we gear up for our second week at Emporda Golf in Girona. This week, the players tackle the Challenge Costa Brava in the penultimate tournament of the year. There is a lot on the line this week as players look to cement their place in the top 70 on the rankings to keep their Challenge Tour card for next season. Those in and around the 45 mark will be looking to make it into the grand final in Mallorca. And of course, the season-long target to take home one of 20 tickets to the European Tour.
The last part of the season has been pretty good for me, so it feels pretty good. Obviously, I've been up there a few times, but haven't really got the job done. So hopefully I can get it done in at least one of the last 2. So that's the main goal. This season has been to finish inside the top 20. It's a good course, this one, and I know the course at the final is a good one as well. So hopefully two good weeks coming up.
Ranked 28th on the road to Mallorca, Jens Dantorp has long since secured his berth at the grand final. But for many others, there's still work to do.
Being, obviously getting into the grand final would be good, and it's kind of been something that's on my mind for a couple of weeks now. It doesn't really change the way I need to play because I'm going to be aiming to have a good finish anyway, no matter whether or not I was this point of the season or early on in the season. So just got to try and focus on what I need to focus on and get my game in a good spot and get my mind in a good spot and try and play as good as I can really to get into next week. It almost feels a little bit like this is sort of like a mini Q school for us. With it being in Spain, it's a very similar time of year, and I've been to Q school 2 or 3 times, so it's kind of got that similar feeling where you've got to have a good result to kind of carry on to the next week. So in a way, that's the way I'm treating it.
Plenty of pressure and no time to waste with a quick turnaround at Emporda Golf, where once again the links course sets the examination in this crucial week for so many.
It helps to know where you have to put the ball. Feels like you've got 4 good practice rounds in. For sure it's going to be a big one. The final is going to be the really big one, but of course if I can get a win in here it's going to help a lot. So obviously I can't affect what other people are doing, but I can focus on getting my job done and hopefully it'll be good enough to win one of the 2. And how I do it, it's not that important to me, but obviously I'll have to play some good golf to get it done.
It was solid rather than spectacular from Dantorp, but the Swede handily placed through 54 holes just inside the top 20 at 3 under par. Perhaps inspired by his day out in Pals, Daniel Hillier shot the low round of the day, carding a 9 under par 62. It included an eagle at the par 4 second and 8 more birdies. The last of them here at the par 5 18th, as Hillier vaulted more than 10 spots to 3rd on the leaderboard and only 2 shots off the 54-hole lead, so very much in contention for a breakthrough win.
Meanwhile, some magic required by Matteo Manassero. if he was to take advantage of his birdie opportunity at the par 5 final hole. Hey presto, lovely stuff from the Italian, and with that fine effort, he climbs to second place on the leaderboard at 14 under. But the man to catch is Ricardo Gouveia. Solid work all day meant he finished with a 5 under par 66 to take a one-shot lead into the final day. A third title of the season, automatic promotion to the European Tour, and top spot on the Road to Mallorca rankings, all on the line. No pressure.
Last week's winner Julien Brun and Germany's Hurley Long nudge into the top 10, as well as the informed Dane Marcus Hellekilde, who, like Long, shot a third round 65. After 24 events of grueling competition, it's time to take stock with Alex Knappe, a two-time Challenge Tour winner who's found 2021 a bit more of a struggle than he'd been hoping for. The experienced German finished top 10 in last year's truncated Road to Mallorca, but lies 48th in the rankings going into this week and in need of a good performance just to make it to the grand final.
At the beginning of the season I said winning a tournament, that was my goal, and finishing inside top 20. This last year obviously was a good year for me. I finished 9th in the ranking, almost made it on the European Tour. You know, and then I thought if I continue this work, then I will be in the top 20. I have a good chance. But now I'm outside top 45 and it's a little bit disappointing, to be honest. So many missed cuts, but also some top 10s. It's just weird. Some weeks I perform well and then the other week just nothing goes my way. I don't know how to describe the season, but I would say it's a weird season. Some pressure, I don't deny it, because I want to play the final, I want to get a European Tour category, which makes life a lot easier next year. My plan is just to play aggressive and be loosed up, you know, not be tight, enjoy playing aggressive. There were like maybe 20, 30 guys who were really good and could compete on the European Tour. Now I feel like the top 20, if they get on the European Tour, they can win straight away. And you have so many kids, they're so good, strong mentally, and they just go low. I'm not confident to make it, to be honest, but I give my 100% best. I had some personal issues this year, maybe that affect me a little bit, breaking up with my girlfriend and not having a home where I consider to be at home. I mean, I'm with my parents at the moment, but I'm 32 years old. It doesn't really feel like that should be my home. So that is maybe something that put me a little bit off emotionally, and that affected maybe my golf as well. I had mental coaches, but right now a friend is helping me. He was a professional golfer as well, and he played on Challenge Tour, and we just trying to get my life in a better balance. Like, it's just all about golf all the time, and then I have basically nothing offside the course. So my home environment, that's the first thing we try to get better. So he's helping me with that because he's now taking that road of being a mental coach. And yeah, he's really good and helping me.
After battling back from an opening 2-over par round, Knappe would finish just outside the top 20 here, narrowly missing out on the grand final, but he can take heart from his efforts this year. The final day of the Challenge Costa Brava at Emporda Golf would be a dramatic one indeed.
There were good early moves from Marcus Hellekilde and New Zealand's Daniel Hillier, who played his way into the final group thanks to that third round 62. A nice stroke on that one for an opening birdie, the Kiwi picking up where he left off yesterday and in the process closing in on Gouveia. A promising start too for four-time European Tour winner Matteo Manassero, showing his chipping skills at the fifth. The Italian getting it dancing around the hole and making birdie there to grab the outright lead from Gouveia at 16 under.
After his drop shot on the fourth hole, Ricardo Gouveia needed birdie to restore his momentum. He duly converted at the very next hole. The final group were finely poised after the opening stretch. Going about his work steadily was Marcus Hellekilde. The Dane was keeping the pressure on the final group and was looking to stake a claim for his third Challenge Tour victory of the season. This birdie putt on the 9th, one of 5 on the front 9, showing just why he's such a force this season.
Gouveia and Mannasero couldn't get it going on the back 9 and fell away, leaving it to Hillier and Hillier to fight it out for the victory. To the Dane at the par 4 16th, blocked out by the trees, but no problem. And a birdie there tied Hillier for the lead. Game on. Faced with a similar problem at 16, Hillier didn't quite get it right. Trying to keep it low, he caught the branches and dropped down into the rough. Clearly disappointed, he needed to put that quickly behind him, which he did, chipping onto the putting surface and leaving himself with this one for his par to remain in a share of the lead. Nicely done.
With Hillier finding greenside bunker and only managing par at the last, Hillier was left with a nervy one for birdie to clinch his maiden Challenge Tour victory. A remarkable final day effort by Daniel Hillier as he posts a 6 under 65 to win the Challenge Costa Brava. A look at the final standings then. A tied third place sees Mannasero jumping 20 places in the rankings to make it into the season finale in Mallorca. But at the summit in Spain, Daniel Hillier.
Pretty unreal week just from the get-go, you know, some tough conditions to battle with, and yeah, managed to battle through that. Had probably the round of my life in round 3, and yeah, it's just been probably the most mentally taxing year that I've ever had. So to get a win at the end of the season is just, yeah, just more than grateful that I'm standing here right now.
So here are the current occupants of those prized top positions. In 20th spot, Andrew Wilson. That maiden title catapults Daniel Hillier to 18th. Lingering just outside the top 10 after his 5th place finish in Spain, Frédéric Lacroix. A disappointing final day on his Spanish excursion cost Frenchman Julien Brun, who drops a place to 4th. He's leapfrogged by Marcus Hillier after his near miss in Spain. Ricardo Gouveia remains in 2nd, sat just behind Santiago Tarrio, who'll be looking over his shoulder in Mallorca, with the top spot in the rankings up for grabs.
25 tournaments in the books and now just one to go as the road to Mallorca nears its final destination. It's already been a year to remember, with some exceptional performances and some highly deserving champions. Now we're down to the final 45 players at the Challenge Tour Grand Final. Who will be our number 1? And who will play on the European Tour next season?